Audubon 2456.
File corrupted. Beginning recovery process.
Welcome everybody to a special report. State of the Save. I am Eric as always. With me as always, Michael. How you doing, Michael?
Doing great. Fantastic even.
We have brought in special help for today's episode. John, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you guys?
You know, it's Friday. It's a Friday show, which is always nice. Usually when we do these shows, it's like in the middle of the week and everybody's half asleep, so it's nice to be going into the weekend. Today is a special show. John was with us when we reviewed / played through Resident Evil 4 for the show. And with our well-documented love of Resident Evil 4, you knew that a bonus show was going to happen. It was just inevitable at this point. So with the Resident Evil 4 remake coming out, everybody here has played it. Some of us have beaten it. Most of us are fairly deep into the game. We felt like we had to do a special report. So that's what we're doing. Surprise. This is a big deal. This is a big deal, yes. Boys.
Oh, yeah.
I've well-documented super fan of Resident Evil 4. It's my favorite game of all time. This was a day one purchase for me from the day it was announced. I tried and bragged about how I was not going to expose myself to really any media. And I did pretty good. I only watched the initial trailer. When the demo came out, I was strong for about 2 days. And then I broke like a leaf. And and played the demo. Michael gave me good advice, though, why I should play the demo. Your kind of opinion, Michael, was to basically get the initial shock out of the way.
Yes. Because it's going to overwhelm you at first because you're like, I can't believe this exists. And because of that, when I played the demo, I did not pay attention to really anything going on in that thing. I just wanted to know if the gameplay sort of held up. So once I had that demo done, I was like, okay, they nailed it. There's no reason to worry. This game is going to be fantastic.
John, did you try the demo? Or did you stay strong?
I did try the demo. I'm a weakling. I did not stay strong. I played that demo twice, in fact. My reason for it's kind of funny. I played the demo. I think I glitched it the first time. Spoilers on the demo. At the end of the demo, you hear the church bell.
Yeah.
And the chainsaw guy never came out for me the first time I played the demo. It's like I was funneling all the enemies. Yeah, I found a way to funnel them all into one like pipeline and was taking them out one by one until I ran out of ammo. And basically I was out of ammo, but then right when I was like literally about to panic and scream, church bell rang.
Okay.
And I was like, huh. And then when I replayed it, I saw the chainsaw guy and I was like, oh, okay. I didn't know about this.
I don't think that's a glitch because during the demo, after Chainsaw Guy had already spawned, the church bell rung right as I emptied my last clip and was out of ammo. So I think there's some cheating going on there. It's also possible. People have discovered with the game on New Game Plus that if you shoot the church bell and can get the church bell to ring, you can trigger that cutscene faster. So it's possible something like a stray bullet may have hit it or something. But I think it's a really hard shot to make, even with like the upgraded sniper rifle.
Yeah, it's got some distance.
Made that with the pistol.
Yeah, it's got some distance. You would have to be. I think you would actively be trying to do it. Would be the only way I can see you like doing it.
True.
I am notoriously like I've played this thing so many times. I played through the demo multiple times myself, but I did it almost as a let's see what they are. Let's see how well they think they know me. because I talked about this a lot with Michael before. I have a system in how I play this game, and sometimes it can be almost like formulaic. So, the concept of like the chainsaw guy coming out, like I always, first thing I do, take out one guy, run into the building, trigger the cutscene when the chainsaw guy comes out, go from there. And then go fight in the courtyard until things get bad, and then climb the tower and just funnel people down the tower. And so I was following my normal system, moving around the environment, realized I was getting overwhelmed, climbed the tower, and then the tower falls out from underneath you. And that's when I realized that, okay, they're aware of my, dastardly little tricks, and they're going to try to, turn things on me as much as they can. And so I played that demo multiple times, just trying to see what I could break. Just like doing that village fight over and over again and be like, okay, what buildings are open, what buildings are not. And yeah, I agree heavily with Michael's suggestion, which was get the initial kind of wow factor out of the way, just so you're more prepared to actually kind of engage with the game on its own terms.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Which is to say that when it was time to engage with the game on its own terms, it just everything hits. Michael, you said you're on like chapter 13, I believe. I'm on chapter 11, and John, you've completed the game. So I feel like we're in a good spot. We all have differing, we have differing levels of experience with the game so far, but we all have, we're pretty committed. And like I said, John, I'm interested to hear your kind of points of view on things because, having the full picture. What was everybody's initial feelings? Let's start with you, John. Kind of like, okay, game's out, time to start. How did it hit from you from the get-go?
Well, so my experience is unique because I had not played this game. I had not played the original at all until maybe like how long ago was that? It wasn't even a year ago when we did that show.
Just under a year ago.
Yeah, like it's not even been a year since I played the original. From the very get-go, I was immediately like, this feels amazing because it was hard for me to go back to the old way that the game felt, just because I never played it originally. I'd gotten all cushy and used to the new control feel of the games, and off the get-go I was like, this game looks amazing, this game feels amazing. How is the story going to be? How is the dialogue going to, because the tone immediately that was set was it felt more serious than the tone that was set in the original. And I was wondering to myself, how is this Leon going to compare to the old Leon? Is it going to be so grounded in reality that Leon's not going to have any charm? Or is he going to be so goofy that it doesn't match the new tone of this this stronger horror feel? After the first couple chapters, the impressions I got were that they hit a pretty good balance with Leon. He was still goofy enough to where it was like they kept the spirit of him for me, but also it kind of adapted to this more horror-focused tone that the remake showed.
I think that's a really good jumping on point for this discussion, being Leon Kennedy, because he does definitely change versus where he is in the original, but it's very much consistent with where he is in Resident Evil 2 Remake. We joke that this is definitely a more jaded Leon. He's been through a lot since then, but he's not completely out of touch with reality like he is in original Resident Evil 4. This is a Leon who's been through the ringer. He's willing to crack some jokes. I love the bit at the beginning where you're being escorted by the cops. He cracks a joke and one of the cops says, "You have a very weird sense of humor."
Yeah.
Leon's not extremely socially awkward like he was in the original. But at the same time, he still has one of my favorite parts of his character, which is no matter what craziness is going on here, he's still only slightly fazed by anything.
Yeah.
Which is what I like about it. Like,
Yes.
That's not a criticism. Listen, this is a Leon Kennedy household. We don't talk about our Lord and Savior Leon Kennedy. But
thanks, bro.
yeah, bro. Well, I can tell you the amount of times I have sat there and just like, are they going to do the line? And like about 50-50. Yeah. I get it, about 50-50.
50-50 is exactly right.
Yeah, there's sometimes where
he still loves bingo.
He doesn't do it. Yeah. I
cheered when the bingo line.
Yeah, I did too. I did a fist pump in the air, like yes.
That one I was worried about because you are correct, John. It's it's a lot darker. It's a lot more serious. There's a lot more. You go into that initial house sequence, and that's not. It's not bright outside. It looks like it's like early morning, still dark outside. The whole sequence is a lot more a horror sequence. And I was like, are they gonna do the bingo line? And when they do it, I was like, yeah, okay, we're set, we're fine, okay, everything's okay now.
I was thinking we were gonna be okay with the first house sequence that is very much grounded in horror, and then Leon does the jump and dodge roll out the window, and I'm like, all right,
yeah,
there's still a bit of cool guy action movie in this somehow. I think the line it draws doesn't sound good on paper, but I think it works here. They took this from a B movie and turned it into a blockbuster popcorn flick.
Yeah.
And on paper, you're like, that doesn't seem like it would work, but it really does. It turns it into like a big, high budget, self-aware action movie. It's great.
It's not Evil Dead 2, it's John Wick. It has a lot of like the big action sequences. Like I think about in particular a sequence I played last night in the castle. That's the sequence that leads into the when you switch perspectives and you play as Ashley, who I want to talk about. I want to talk about that a little bit too.
Yeah.
Well, that's that in the main game is a very short cutscene. Here it's a big action sequence where Leon's hitting guys with a knife, using them as human shields, popping fools right and left, and it's something that they do a lot in this game, and I kind of am constantly, it's my favorite thing about playing through it, is they either expand on sequences or they switch up the order of how things come into play. I've played Resident Evil 4 well into the double digits of playthroughs, and so it's constantly like, oh, this sequence is usually following this room over here, but we're going to jump it up 3 rooms so it's still surprising to a new player. Or this guy makes an appearance here for the first time in the original, but we're going to give you foreshadowing and things like that, to kind of lay the groundwork for the character. They do massive work on, like, we'll talk about Ashley, but Ashley gets her redo fixes a lot of the initial complaints that you have with Ashley in the original game. Luis gets Luis gets explained. He is a character here instead of a. I love him in the original game, but I love that he's just randomly pops up and then just smiles and walks away, and then pops up in a sequence later. But here they give him agency. He is a progression throughout the game that he's actively doing things, and we understand why he's leaving and disappearing and coming back. Just stuff like that just fixes how that character walks.
He just has a greater stake in the gameplay and the story in this version.
Absolutely. Luis is becoming elevated to be one of my favorite Resident Evil characters because
I love him in this.
Yeah, the fact that like every gameplay sequence with Luis, they make him, as you said, John, they tie him much more into the gameplay. Like chapter 11, you're already starting to play it. There's a chapter with Luis in this game, and it's one of the best chapters in this entire game so far. Just having someone for Leon to bounce off of in combat adds
Yes.
a lot to the gameplay and the stuff going on.
Well, like the fight in the house holdout sequence, which is it's an extremely memorable part of the first game. Here, they nail the horror aspect of it. It's a lot more scary. It's a lot more intimidating. But their banter is great. How they interact with each other is great. He still has the suave kind of scummy personality, but they've dialed him back now, so he's less of a caricature and he's more of a real character. I have been so impressed with the amount of work that they've done just to clean up stuff, like him. When we meet our new version of the mayor of the town, who is just the Undertaker now.
Yes. He big boots Leon, and that's their introduction.
Yes. But he gets a little bit more play. We get a little bit more backstory with him. We get some added sequences that are not in the original game. And it just kind of builds him up a little bit more. So when you get to that big boss fight, he's one of the characters in the original game. If you think about it, it's kind of odd that he disappears so early in that game, because he's built as a major player, and then he's kind of he's the ending boss of the first third of the game, but he's just kind of, and then he's gone. Here he kind of gets a little bit more to do, and he gets built up more. They've done a really great job of, if you were playing this without having played the original, a lot of this stuff you wouldn't quite pick up on, why it's different and this, that, and the other. But it's just massive quality of life changes that they've added to this that just makes it feel like a fresh game, even though it's something that I've played 20 times. I mean, it's just and like I said, the mixing up of sequences, like how you interact with characters early, or how rooms are even rearranged. Like in the castle, I got the heads up about Michael was struggling in the water room, and I was like giving myself more time than I ended up having, because it kind of appeals a lot earlier in the game than it does in the original.
I opened those doors, saw what room was next, and went back to the merchant. I'm like, no, we're not doing this right now.
Not today. But
yes, I will take that. Yes, I will take that first aid spray. Thank you.
Speaking of characters that got kind of redone, the merchant, somehow they improved the merchant, which I don't know how that's possible, but they did it.
The merchant is amazing. He's probably the biggest glow up in this entire thing, which I did not think was possible. I love the merchant.
All he needed was more quotes. That's all he needed. He's golden. I love him.
And just a little nugget of a reason to be there. Like the side quest, like from the first side quest you get before, I think this is before you even meet him, you see like his first request that was like, these idiots keep hanging their stupid cult stuff around this village. Please, somebody take him down. So my head canon here is that he was like a merchant in the village who didn't buy into the cult, and that everyone, once they started joining the cult, they stopped going to the shop. So here comes Leon. He's like, please get this cult out of my village. So that's why he's following him, because he's actually he's buying things.
He's the only person left to buy stuff.
Exactly. So I have a little headcanon with this villager here. Like, he's already set up, like, he has elaborate elevators in places. This man has like an ongoing business, and they do say in this version that it is the same merchant, because he complains that his back is hurting from hauling all this stuff.
My favorite thing about him is I was a little bit worried that they were going to try to explain him.
They give you just enough.
Yeah, like, they're going to try to give us some tragic backstory to the merchant. Exactly. It's like, I don't need to know what the merchant's life like before this was like. I just want him to still be surly. He gets irritated with you when you don't buy stuff. like the challenge rooms are now these really elaborate challenge rooms that are really fun.
Love the gun
yeah.
range. I spent
They're
probably
so nice.
I spent probably a couple to 3 hours in there because I make it a point every time I go down there being like, I'm gonna S rank every new challenge, and just like the addition that your companions will be in there too, like Ashley and Luis will be in the gun range with you and just comment on your shooting. And Ashley reminds me of someone who's with you at the fair cheering you on as you're landing headshots. The music here is great.
I didn't know that Luis could be down.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's a third gun. When you first get Luis in your party, you can go to the first merchant. There's an elevator down to the gun range right there, so you can do the gun range with Luis. Now you got to play the game again, John, to get there.
I do. I got to get the Luis quotes.
I also want oh, you know they got to be good too, because Ashley's all supportive. Luis is going to talk shit about you. He's going to be like,
yeah.
What are you doing, man? What part of don't shoot the sailor don't you understand? They've added like little stuff to that. Like it's so much more than like the original gun range is very much just pop-up targets and occasional moving. But like now it's this elaborate thing where they're like monkeys that come from the ceiling and guys behind barrels and like shooting guys with over the shoulder of a sailor and stuff. Like it's twice as elaborate as it used to be. But it's great. I would love that after you finish the game, if you could just like give me access to the gun range, I could just sit there and play the gun range.
There's two things I want at the end of this game. It is a gun range and it's a boss rush, because these bosses are amazing. But yeah, the gun range.
Oh yes.
Just when you get to the bonus round and just the addition of like the disco lights and the music, just all of a sudden adding a trumpet is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great.
You talked about the bosses. The bosses are great because they either do a very straight up version of the original boss, or they do something that's almost 100% completely different. They also seem to throw in a couple of new ones. I really, really dig the second troll that you fight in the castle, who is throwing like stuff down from the upper walls of the castle, and you're trying to navigate around to shoot them with a cannon. I like that.
It's like they did that sequence instead of the weird collapsing ceiling. All of a sudden there's a tank in the middle of this hallway chasing you out. It's like, hey, it's smarter game design. We have an asset of this giant creature. Let's use him to throw stuff at you and make a really exciting chase sequence that way. So every time they like take something away, they give you something else.
There hasn't been anything that they've taken away that I severely miss or I am angry about missing. No, go ahead.
Oh, you're good. I think we are recording this online, and my internet seems to be lagging, so I apologize to everyone in advance.
No, you're good.
So I remember last time when we were playing the original Resident Evil 4, one of the things that both of you mentioned were today no one would make a game like Resident Evil 4 today because of all the assets that were in it, like just different. And after playing this remake, they did make a lot, but also they found a way, like that troll fight, to reuse them in a way that's still, fresh and felt natural.
Well, they cut the stuff that's like thematically weird about the original. Because there is, like we talked about, you're 100% right. That's something me and Michael commented about over and over again. Is there was all these like one-time use assets where it's like, we're gonna do this once. We had a guy work on this for 3 months, and you see it for 2 seconds. But here they do a better job of making it a more cohesive environment. Things link a lot better. It's a lot more cohesive than it is like separate rooms with challenges inside those rooms. And like they do cut stuff, but like I said, nothing that they cut really particularly was like infuriating to me. They cut things like the boulders coming down in the first the village section, stuff like that. They cut some of all the QuickTime stuff. But then the stuff they give you in return is like, hey, here's almost an open world style section with the lake, where instead of just the lake being this thing you cross once or twice and you fight a boss in, we're going to let you drive the boat around and go to different places and find treasure and stuff like that.
Yes.
You know, stuff like, hey, instead of letting you shoot a cannon once in the castle, we're going to give you another one to shoot at a big troll monster. You know, it's reusing assets and stuff, but it's still giving you a fresh experience. On top of it, it just seems it's smarter. You're 100% right. It's smarter game design. It's using your time wisely. You know, like, and I kind of want to go back to that like section about like the lake there, where like there's all this new stuff in it where it's like, hey, here's this open area with the lake we can go adventuring around that's not in the original game, because the original game kind of had to be a series of hallways because it's, you know, a GameCube game. Like there's just, but like that whole section is like stuff like that for someone who's very familiar with this thing was just a ball, because it's like, oh, I'm gonna go out there and see what's there. You can get the Red 9 for free out there, which is nice.
So happy. I cheered, and then I tried to attach the red dot sign on it, and it was like, nope, you can't do that. But I stuck with it. I upgraded that thing completely, and I got the Red 9 stock on it, so it was like, I'm sorry for doubting you. I should have trusted you.
Yes.
My Red 9. It's my baby. It's one of my favorite guns in all of games. It's old, reliable.
I ran the Red 9. I loved it.
Yeah, it's still solid, man. It's still the best, one of the best guns in video games. It feels almost like cheating sometimes when you use it, because it's just so powerful. And you know, if you got half a decent accuracy, you're just dropping fools. You know,
I'm going into that island with the upgraded Red 9, and I'm like, bring it on, regenerators. How worse can you be here?
Oh boy.
That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah. You'll have a time.
John's like, it's worse. Just go ahead and accept that. Your Red 9's aren't going to really help much.
Let's just say with this modern tech, there are animations that they couldn't have done back then that they can do now.
I've never been more excited and terrified at the same time. I can't wait. Because the game bullied me into playing hardcore mode. Right from the beginning, there's the difficulty slider. It says standard for people who didn't play Resident Evil 2005. And I'm like, I played it. Yeah. With the hardcore, it's like, for people who have beaten Resident Evil 2005, it's like, I beat that game 3 or 4 times. How dare you question me?
Yeah.
It's like that Keegan-Michael Key gif of, and I took that personally. So...
Yeah,
that's also a Michael Jordan gif. I think it's funny you can see what version of the internet you're on, because you're like, it's like the Michael Keaton. I'm like, it's also Michael Jordan, but we'll let that slide.
But yeah, so I've only regretted it a handful of times. Mainly, I think you're past it now, Eric. The room with the 2 Wolverine dudes. They make that room so much harder. Where that was the one room that killed me more than like 5 times.
That the Wolverine guys are still very tough. They don't seem to be as, they're smarter. They're not as dumb as they used to be, where you could kind of just like stand still and they walk away from you.
Yeah. Yeah. They kind of stay. They kind of hover.
Yeah. Well, and they also kind of like track where you. So if you shoot them and then you move back, it seems like they still head that direction, and they still can usually hit you. But if you move, you have to kind of move like in a circle or sideways path, way of movement. The The only like sequence that has killed me repeatedly, weirdly enough, is the sequence towards the end of the village where you get attacked by the 2 chainsaw wielding enemies that come through the wall.
The sisters.
Yeah. Which
Leon's best line in the game here.
I'm more of a one-woman type of guy.
Yes.
It's a very Leon Kennedy line. Like Leon just being like, I got a joke. Like, hey, Ashley, how you feel about that joke?
And the backflip. He could have just ducked or scooted back.
Leon
Leon Kennedy does a backflip. And I just shook my head and went, that's the same Leon. Nothing's changed here.
One of my biggest fears after playing Resident Evil 2 Remake and the Leon Kennedy that's in that, who has no Kung Fu skills, is that they were going to drop down his kicks and somersaults and all this stuff. And no, they still let you somersault all you want. You can still kick guys. You can suplex people now.
Yeah.
Which is
break
great.
That guy's neck in the opening.
Yeah, he kicks that guy so hard he breaks his neck.
And that guy comes back.
Yeah. Well, some of the new enemy states, like the I call it like baby parasite version, which is that where the heads snapped, but they'll still getting back up. New versions of how the parasite works. It's just all that stuff is it's cool because as a new player, you would be like, oh, this is a new variant. But as a returning player, it's like, I know how to deal with all this stuff. I know how to deal with this. Oh crap, I don't know how to deal with this. What's my plan here? What's my scheme? Like I said, I got like a plan on how I play this game, even down to what weapons I buy when. And so now it's like little stuff like that will throw you off your game pretty good. Like there's a dude in the bathroom that jumps out at you. And like
that jump scared me.
He's in the bathroom, I think, in the original, but he's a lot more aggressive here, and it scared the crap out of me.
Him and the wardrobe guy in the first village just made... There was like a moment of the controller popping out of my hand, just like
yeah, like little stuff like that. Like the wardrobe guy is a problem. Because at that point, you're roaming around the village looking for loot, picking up, supplies. You're like, what a happy day here in this village. I killed all these guys. And then out he pops. I don't know what he was doing in there for the whole past 2 hours. But,
I'm going to scare this guy so hard.
You might have killed my entire village, but you ain't killing me.
He popped out during the fight for me. So for me, it was jumping through the window and be like, okay, I got some time before they get here. Let's check this closet.
The initial fight also has one of my favorite things added, which is the cow now. The fact that you can shoot that flame. Oh, it set that cow on fire. And he just
the flaming cow running through the... It's wild. It was
also
insane.
The greatest line ever. My favorite line is Leon just going, "Bill me," when he does it.
I missed that.
I went through the damages later.
Yeah. The cows will bully you if you're not careful. There's another cow yard in which I accidentally shot a cow in, and me and Ashley had a bad time because the cows started ramming into Ashley. I kept having to revive Ashley. So yeah, don't mess with the cows. They're a problem. There's also Cow Guy now. There's an enemy that's just got a cow head on who's just like a tank.
I love that guy.
Yeah. Well, speaking of things I didn't know what to do with, I was like, you're not the original. What are you doing here? Get out of here. Don't you know this is a remake? Let's talk, one thing I do want to talk about, big character here, the reimagining / redo of Ashley. I was fascinated how this was going to go. I personally don't think the Ashley sequences in the original Resident Evil 4 are that bad. No. I think that they did some really smart stuff here. She's a little bit smarter. She dodges enemies better. And the fact that you can not straight outright kill her by like oh crap, I accidentally shotgunned Ashley, makes it a lot easier to be able to just walk over there and revival if you do mess up. Or if, you throw a frag grenade a little bit too close to the president's daughter. Instead of mission failure, you just have to go over there and pick her back up.
Yeah, the downstate. And the fact that you don't have to use any of your healing items, because let me tell you, I'm very light on healing items, it turns out.
I was just about to say that. Yes, I love that you no longer have to, she no longer has her separate health bar that you have to manage. It's like, she just goes into that down state, and when she does, you go help her up. If she gets hit again, then she's gone.
She calls out enemy locations, too. Leon, behind you!
Exactly.
To your right. All that stuff is great. They did a great job with Ashley.
Even the follow mechanic of how close you want her to follow you is really, really smart, because it's great in big or open arenas to let her kind of fall behind, where you can kind of go out, get in the fray, throw your grenades, shoot a bunch of machine gun bullets, and not have to worry about her as much. But it is good, oh crap, I'm out of ammunition, Ashley. We're just going to get out of here. And you just be follow close and duck and weave, kid. Just really, really helps. Also, she, the annoyance factor is gone. She's not whiny. She has, she shows a little bit of competence. They didn't do the whole thing that I was kind of thinking they were going to lean into, which was now Ashley's hyper competent and good at everything. Now she's still a scared teenager, but
over time she gets more competent.
Exactly,
yes.
She shows intelligence.
Yes,
I thought about the first sequence you play as her, which I kind of dislike in the original. The sequence in which you play as Ashley, it has the worst puzzle because it has one of those slide puzzles, and I hate the slide puzzle.
There's a worse puzzle in this game with the rotating hexagon blocks. I don't know if you did that one. Oh. That was an optional one back in the village.
I hated
that's
that.
That's not that. That's okay. Oh. I got lucky on that one.
I feel like you either do it in. I feel like you either do it in 2 spins or you do it in 200.
Yes, yeah, because it's I think you can mess it up worse than it already is when you start. And then it doesn't reset, so no matter how bad you messed it up, you can't reset it to what it was, and it's ah!
I like the fact that it doesn't reset, too, because then you can't do the classic, I'll just go to YouTube and see how to fix it.
Because you can't do yeah.
It's done now, bro.
Exactly, I tried to do that, but I couldn't.
It's too bad, John. You've been messing with this for 15 minutes. You figure it out now.
No.
Exactly.
I did it. I brute forced that thing. I'm not leaving until I get this done.
I think I must have got real lucky then, because I'm by no means that's not a puzzle I'm really, really I'm not the puzzle guy. Like I said, I hated that slide puzzle so deeply in Resident Evil 4. But yeah, I must have got real lucky on that one, because I went into it anticipating hatred, and I kind of came away pretty. I was okay. But she shows competence in there, and also that whole sequence is vastly better. Instead of just dodging fallen axes from knight armor, you have this cool mechanic of freezing the knights with the light, and then when you lose the light, that whole sequence you want it cues more of a horror sequence of her running, no longer now able to protect herself. That whole sequence is just great. I like the fact that those Sadler is not being revealed constantly. It's not till I don't think I've even been in the same room as the man but once.
I don't think so, but his presence
you see him in
there
flashbacks.
throughout the game.
Yeah, but I don't it's not like Leon's talking to him all the time.
No, he's in your head as the leader of the parasites guiding you, which I think is a cooler way to use Sadler. I do wish we got a few more scenes with him so far. I don't know if the island fixes that, but so far I wish we had more Sadler. And as someone who completed the castle, I wish we had more Salazar. I like Salazar in the remake.
Yeah.
Salazar in the original is better. His boss fight here is much better, though. But as Salazar as a character.
Oh, the boss fight. That's my favorite boss fight.
It's so good.
And that makes me
Yeah.
happy because I'm not a super fan of the original boss fight with him. It's kind of like, it strikes me as like it's one of the very like generic Resident Evil boss fights.
Shoot the eyeball.
Yeah, shoot the eyeball. You've seen it in Resident Evil 3. You've seen it in Resident Evil, 0, whatever. It's in almost all the Resident Evil games. So the fact that you guys really dig his boss fight makes me really, really happy.
It's definitely better than the original boss fight. The boss fight is, at least.
Every boss fight so far, I would say, is better than the original. The only one I would say I may like the original better is the fight with the right hand. But it's close. It's very similar to it.
It's a good fight in the original game. That's
it's intense. Because what makes it work so good in the original is that it's a swerve in tone to full-on horror. Here it's in tone with the rest of the game, so it doesn't make you more tense. It's just it's like the same feeling going throughout the entire game. His design is still cool. I think that's the only boss fight so far that I think the original version is better, and that's just because of the tonality of it.
I could see that kind of falling in similar line with what John was saying, where it's using your assets and trying to keep the tone a little bit more consistent, while original Resident Evil 4 doesn't care anything about that. So anytime you enter a room, it could be a completely different thing. So I could see them being like, no, we need to keep the tone more consistent, which is particularly interesting to me because how is that tone going to work with like the regenerators, which is a straight up more of a horror enemy?
Once again,
from John's sounds and non-spoiler talk, I imagine pretty good. They were the talk of the original game, and I believe from what I've seen, there's some of the talk of this game too, which has me very happy.
They keep the same impact that they had in the original game.
That makes me...
I'll give you that much.
Yes, okay. Cool.
I'm interested to see how that works also, because like right now I have this semi-automatic sniper rifle, but I don't have a scope for it. So I'm iron sighting people. Yeah. I'm like, I really hope that like infrared scope is not going to be like behind the paywall of me having to pay that merchant for it, because
hope you have enough spinals.
Because I'm iron sighting it right now with that sniper rifle.
I will spoil that.
And it's working okay.
You don't have to buy the infrared scope. I will spoil that. You don't have to do that.
Why do I have a feeling it's not in the same spot? I have that. Don't say anything, John. I have that feeling that I'm going to open that chest and it's going to be a note that says, "We moved it."
Be like, surprise! We had this cool scope here for a while, but then we got bored with it, so we just ditched it. Figure it out now. I am excited, but the island is the section of the game that I kind of think is the weakest of the original. That's not saying it's bad by any means. I really like the island in the original because the regenerators. It's a little bit weird fighting like all the dudes with the guns and stuff, the Gatling gun guy. So I'm really excited how the island's gonna work. They didn't show a lot of that in the trailers.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm excited to see how that's going to work.
There's some stuff. Not going into details here for you because I want to keep some of the stuff a surprise. They already start doing some island stuff in the castle.
Okay.
That has me going like, what? I'm like thinking through my head like, okay, we did that. There's still like 3 highlights here, but they mostly covered all this. So I'm wondering, are they going to fill it with new stuff to try to make it flow better and feel consistent? Because that was the biggest problem of the island in the original game, was it felt like 3 different locations and 3 different ideas kind of thrown together. You have the island with like the beach area where you go to war. You have the oil refinery zone. You have the laboratory with the regenerators. Then you have like this construction site thing where you fight Sadler, and then you leave, and you also have some like underground tunnel stuff where you have laser sights, and that's where you also fight Krauser in basically the steam room from Commando. So it's all a bunch of stuff thrown together. So I'm wondering if they already did some island stuff in the castle, so they can kind of not necessarily homogenize, but like make it flow better.
The progression feels more natural from location to location.
Okay, that yes.
Yes, the island feels more of a natural progression in this game, I think, based on what I remember, without spoiling anything. Like, there's more of a reason. Like, it makes more sense. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
That makes me really happy, because that is something that's a valid complaint on the original game, is that the island is kind of random. You know, it's like we have a bunch of ideas. It feels like ideas from original versions of that game that they put together and made, walk.
It has the best moments and the worst moments of that game thrown together in a blender.
Yeah, because it has really good stuff in it, but
yes.
It also has some stuff, and it also suffers a little bit from the okay, let's wrap this up syndrome.
Right.
Where it's like, what are we doing here? Let's go ahead and get through some of this.
We're $10 million over budget and 2 years too late. We need to.
Yeah. It's like, what are we doing?
Release this tomorrow.
I'm happy to hear that it seems to be a little bit more of a like connected experience. That seems like and so far they've not given me any reason why they wouldn't be. Because everything just seems to be a lot more smooth in how it flows, and things connect a lot better. It's a triumph of how they've done this. Like I said, if anybody was going to come in here and try to poke holes in how things was going to work, it would be me. And I've not had really many complaints at all. I don't like the fact that your initial seeing of Ada in the mayor's house, you can't go back in the room and get another cutscene. That kind of pissed me off. How dare they?
Because they kind of put it all there. Because they had the problem of the original game of the dude still being there, but in this game he kind of just falls like a sack of potatoes out of the window, which is pretty great.
When he jumps out the window, I was like, well, what happens if I go out of the room and come back in? I was like, oh, it doesn't happen. This is bullshit. There goes your 10 out of 10, Capcom. But it's just, I'm just overjoyed with how well this has come out. We are getting Mercenaries at the end of it would be
next week,
next month. Yeah, is it next week?
Next
I thought
week.
It was into 2 weeks. Oh, so it is next week.
Yep.
Yeah. It's
And
free
it has
download
me-
too.
It has me thinking that eventually we're going to get Separate Ways, because they worked in some of the Separate Ways cutscenes into this game.
We do not play as Ada in this, do we, John? That would be a question for you.
No, we do not.
Okay. That was one thing I thought might happen. I was like, if they're not going to do Separate Ways, maybe you have, because you do some sequences in the Resident Evil 2 remake as Ada, and I was like, well, maybe they'll like put you in the shoes of Ada throughout the game or something like that, and try to walk in some of that throughout the game. So yeah, I if you don't do that in this, I think that it's got to be almost a given at this point.
Yeah, it could be DLC.
Separate Ways comes. Yeah,
Because there's a lot missing. Ada's the only part of this game that feels 1-for-1 with the original and how she's treated. Because she does do the show up, leave, and all her cutscenes basically play out the same. So far.
She gets a couple of extra.
Like the scene with her and Luis.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, there's also the sequence in which she's on the walls of the castle when Ashley's grabbed. And she's the one who points Leon in the direction of where Ashley is being taken.
Oh, that's true, because she's the only one who hacks your radio.
Yeah. So, she gets a little bit more. There's some direct references to her and Leon from specifically the Resident Evil 2 remake version of the story that's kind of there. I feel like Separate Ways has to be a guarantee at this point. There's just too much potential for money. You put that thing as a $20 download, you'll get my money day one. And like you said, you could even do some run through of the same areas. And I would like a sequence break at one point though. If you shoot the clock tower, I want the game to take that into consideration when you play separate ways. But I don't think that's going to happen. But yeah,
is that what happens in the original?
In the separate ways, yeah. Basically, they explain every time, how did Leon get out of this? It was Ada doing something to get Leon out on the right track. It's basically the Lion King 1.5 of Resident Evil 4.
Yeah,
that's
Ada's
really
like
cool.
the background. I've been watching for like Ada moments. So like when you re-enter the village after the mayor's house, and they blow up the tower in this. I was like, whoa, that seems a little bit weird for the villagers themselves to do that. I wonder if that's an Ada thing. Like, I've been doing like that now constantly. Like, any changes or any unique little weird stuff, I'm like, it seems like that could be an Ada situation over there. Let's, kind of keep an eye on that. Put a mental note in there, what she's been doing. Because I could see them doing some fun stuff with separate ways of Ada doing different stuff, and have her being a little bit more... a little bit more unique situations of what she's been doing throughout the whole escapades. But yeah, if you came to this show thinking that somebody was going to be on here bashing this, I don't know what I don't know what show you thought you came to, but
yeah, sorry to disappoint. This is a fantastic game.
Like, I came here for multiple perspectives on Resident Evil 4 Remake. The only thing I got was all three of them telling me how good it is.
In three different ways, how amazing this game is.
So,
yes.
I have a question for you, John. At the end of our Resident Evil discussion, Resident Evil 4 discussion, you said off mic that 7, between the three you played 7, 8, and 4, that 4 was your least favorite of those 3 games you played. Have you played any more Resident Evil games since then? And if you have, where does the remake of 4 line up with that?
This is a good question. So, I've actually not played any yet. I got a bunch of them while they were on sale to play sometime. I think the next one I play will be the Resident Evil 2 remake, just to get some more of that Ada and Leon context.
You also get Claire.
Claire's great.
Claire is great. I love like I would highly suggest it for Leon, but Claire is also really good.
Noted. That'll probably be the next one I play, but no, I've not played any new ones. But I will say, so 7 was my favorite out of those. I liked 4, but because I was coming on to 4 way after its original release date, I had been spoiled by the new RE engine. 7 was probably my favorite just because it was such a good horror experience. But, sorry, internet's lagging again. But I will say, this is my new favorite Resident Evil game.
Ooh.
This is like easily.
Whoa.
I enjoy this game. Yes. This game takes what I loved about Resident Evil 7 and 8 and combines it with the things I liked about Resident Evil 4.
Yes.
I
think that's where I'm at too.
It married the two.
Mm-hmm.
It takes away the barrier to fun that Resident Evil 4 has. Listen, the tank control stuff is a barrier to fun in Resident Evil 4. It's necessary for how that game is designed, but going back to it, if you're not accustomed to it, it's a challenge. And it makes things like, reloading your gun unnecessarily difficult, And they did stuff here that the great crazy thing is, they did stuff here that still feels Resident Evil 4 to me.
Yes.
Like, with the how you shoot in this still feels very much like a stop, plant, shoot mentality. Yeah, you can move.
Yes.
But your accuracy's so daggum bad, you don't want to do that. So I still feel like I'm playing it, and I have a hard time understanding whether that's just me in that mindset, or if that's just the game doing a great job of kind of still forcing it upon you. I still feel like sometimes I still play this like old Resident Evil 4, where I still plant, wound guys, then bail, go run away, turn around, plant, we take some dudes guys out, you know.
See, I had the exact near opposite mentality there, because I had to relearn how to play this on hardcore, because I was trying to do the plant shoot thing. But on hardcore, you got to keep... It's like how Doom 2016 combat is, where it's like if you stop moving, you're going to die. You have to constantly be on the move. Which was the exact opposite of original Resident Evil 4. So that took a little bit of adjusting to, but once I got the hang of that, I've been having a blast with the combat.
One thing I do want to ask both of you, how y'all feel about the parry system?
Love it. The knife is
I love
great.
It feels so great to parry a chainsaw.
I upgraded my knife. I have one more upgrade on the knife to do. The knife. I want to do a knife only run of this at some point, because I love the knife so much.
Ooh.
You probably could.
You could.
It would be tough, but you probably could.
I think you can unlock, because there's a lot of unlocks in this game, and I cannot wait to play through this as soon as I finish it. But maybe on a lower difficulty with the overpowered weapons, just so I can breeze through this whole thing. But I think one of the upgrades you can unlock is a knife that never breaks.
I feel like if you had that, you would probably be able to do a knife-only run. Because I'm having a hard time thinking of any particular enemies that require you to have to shoot them. That you can't walk your way around to get in close quarters with them. And with the parry system, if you get real good at parrying stuff, you can pretty much get, you can get yourself through mobs. And, you can always just wound / kick people in faces. And, it's always, just walk your way around and stab dudes in the neck and stuff. So, one of my favorite things is, the knife's in Resident Evil 4, but it's like a last-ditch effort, But if you ever, look at the advertising for Resident Evil 4, the knife's, present everywhere. He's got the knife. He's got it upside down, which is a terrible way to carry a knife, but, it's still freaking cool. The fact that they lean so heavily into the knife here makes me really happy. They're like, no, now that knife's Leon's main, weapon of choice. When in doubt, he stabs people.
Stop Skeletons from Fighting just released a fantastic video this past week, where he's covering all of the demos, the GameCube demo, the Japanese demo, the original game, and the Chainsaw demo, and explaining how things shifted over time as it went through each stage of development. And what's interesting is that in the original demo of Resident Evil 4, the knife is not mapped to a button. You have to pause the game, go into your inventory, which is laid out like an original Resident Evil inventory. It doesn't have the attaché case. You have to physically equip the knife, and then you just have it in your hand, and then you can't move. You're static. It's like you're holding down that button. So it's amazing how the knife went from the worst thing to use to the absolute best thing in this entire game.
I don't know about an infinite knife. I've not heard much about that, but I will say you might be in for a knife's surprise later.
Yeah, I was wondering if I would get Krauser's knife eventually, because you get that in the main game.
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
And Eric, did you catch that? You do in the original game, because you do the knife fight with him, and then he is that when? No, you get it after you beat his boss fight, his proper boss fight, not the quick time event boss fight.
Yeah, when you finally kill him is when you get his fancy knife.
Gotcha. I can't wait for that knife. It's gonna be good.
Mm-hmm.
And Eric, did you catch that the knife Leon starts the game with is the one that's given to him in Resident Evil 2 Remake?
Yes, which is really
made me
cool.
So happy.
There's a lot.
That's cool.
There's a lot of little nods to other projects in that opening cutscene. where it's Leon, kind of giving you the rundown of what he's been up to since Resident Evil 2. There's some nods to the animated movies. I think that cutscene of him meeting the president is straight out of one of the animated movies.
There is a reference to the Wii-only shooter, The Dark Side Chronicles, in this game.
Yeah. They go deep into some Resident Evil lore, which I'm a Resident Evil guy. I've played all of them except I have not played 8 yet because I'm an idiot apparently. But
8 is so good.
Yeah,
I hope you'll like it. It's good.
I love it.
Listen, there's a lot of things going for it. All right.
That's one thing I was hoping for. So, sorry.
No, go ahead.
In 8, the Duke, the salesman in that game, references the salesman in Resident Evil 4. I was hoping that the remake would include a quote where he references the Duke, but I've yet to hear it if it does exist.
I haven't seen any ties to 7 and 8, which I was wondering if this game, that was something we talked about on our Game Club, was if this game would strengthen its ties to it a little better because it's in a similar location. I didn't know. I was pouring through the notes, seeing if there was a reference to like Heisenberg or Lady Dimitrescu or like Mother Miranda and stuff like that, but I haven't found anything. Not saying it's not there. It's Resident Evil, so you might need to go and walk to the end of the pier and shoot a lake 5 times in order for that to happen.
Yeah, that's how you get the unlockable skin.
That is how you get the unlockable skin without paying for it. So
you don't have to pay.
Yeah, new people. If you've never played Resident Evil 4, go to the end of the dock and shoot the lake 5 times, and you'll get the unlockable skin that I paid money for, like a scrub.
You'll get the really big, amazing skin that'll just pop out and be there for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, remember how, like, in old Tomb Raider games, if you inserted certain codes, you got to see Laura naked? It's kind of like that. Trust us. Go do it now.
Nothing bad will happen if you shoot the water. We promise.
I feel like Resident Evil 6 kind of is the starting point in which, like, I feel like I don't know if they're going to connect those two, because one of the questions I want to ask y'all before we wrap up here is, do they continue the remaking cycle to 5? Or is this the last of these getting remade?
We need Code Veronica. As someone who has played Code Veronica has not aged well at all. I played that game. I liked that game. It has fascinating ideas. It's just extremely weird that the only game that we have with in the remake series is there's only one game with Wesker in it, with Resident Evil 1.
Yeah, you're right.
Our main villain in the series, where he really pops up and where it leads into 5 is Code Veronica. Code Veronica is very important to the Resident Evil story. That's where you need to go next. Another option I could see them doing is doing a remake of a remake and doing Resident Evil 0 and 1 together in the RE engine.
Oh, I would, dude, you want to talk about that? Would be awesome. Because that's something also, I'm glad you brought, I think, John, you brought the engine first. This engine's pretty damn amazing. This is a great engine. Like, this thing can pump out some lighting. It can pump out some grungy looking wood, and I love this damn thing.
They keep adding onto it. I saw that they were using the muscle tech that they developed for Street Fighter 6 because everyone's muscles in the the character viewer just like jiggles. I saw people doing that with like a regenerator rotating around and seeing his body fat just jiggle.
Yeah.
I think I'm with you, Michael. I think the proper move is either Code Veronica or maybe a remake of 1/0 with the RE engine. I don't see any reason to continue on to 5. Definitely no damn reason at all to go on to 6.
Are you sure? Don't you want a 6 with this team to look at, analyze, being like, we're going to take what's work and completely reevaluate this thing.
The problem is what works.
Some might argue that 6 may needed the most.
Maybe what we really should do is just like wipe the timeline and just announce 5 and 6 as if 5 and 6 never came out. Like, isn't it weird how Resident Evil did the Star Wars thing and then jumped to 7 and 8, but never did a 5 and 6? That's so weird. It's so weird. And just like come out with a new version of 5.
This is Resident Evil 5. It's nothing like the original 5.
Yeah, it's not even Chris. Wet blanket of Resident Evil. It's our real characters. There was no love for Chris Redfield in this household. Over there by our Leon Kennedy statue, in which we got candles lit around, there is no Chris Redfield in this household.
As someone who's played 8, I'm now indifferent on Chris. I don't have a hatred towards Chris it's now a burning indifference. I'm like, that's an upgrade.
Yeah.
That's the problem with him. He's just there. Yeah. Like, he's not as good. His sister is better. Claire vastly more interesting than he is. Leon Kennedy is the greatest video game hero in the history of video games. And
Jill's pretty great too.
Jill's great. I love Jill. You got Claire, Jill, Leon, all high quality characters. Yeah, so I think going forward, I would prefer your solutions, Michael, than a straight up remake of 5.
Or just make 9. Just go on to 9.
Yeah, go. Yeah, I mean, really, to be honest with you, that's the go-to.
It'd be great if 9 could just tie all the trilogies together in some way.
I haven't played 8, so I don't know. 7 just feels so different. Like, I have a hard time. I mean, I know Chris is there. Chris is there, and and I would love to see a modern, what Jill and people like that have been up to, But at the same time, I don't want it to be like a Avengers movie sequence in which all of a sudden, because that's what they did with 6. 6 was that, where it's like, here's Jill and Chris and Leon and all your favorite characters and Wesker's son for some reason in here as the Avengers of Resident Evil, and it wasn't good. So I'm like hesitant to want to see them too much into like the new the next ones in the series, because like that feels like a different vibe. But it's a mixed bag.
Good job of reining it in to the rest of the series, which is weird because it's the one with vampires and werewolves and stuff, but I feel like it's more consistent with for some reason that one feels like it pulls it back into more Resident Evil-y stuff by like tying in everything to not to go into spoilers, but Umbrella and the history of Umbrella is really important to 8's like background like narrative going on. So I feel like that's a good setup for where they can go with 9, and because of that, maybe you could bring back one of the original people who've helped deal with Umbrella into this world.
That could be cool.
I think you can go with this. Like could see. I haven't played the Shadows of Rose DLC yet, so I don't know if that ends with something. I have it. I started it, but then I moved on to other stuff. I'll go back and play through that thing eventually, but I don't know if there's a thing at the end of that sets up where they're going for 9. It does set up that there's a time jump, so all our characters that we love will be old and grizzly, and I really want to play as an old lady Jill. Give me 65-year-old Jill who's just seen it all and done with everything. But according to Capcom, no matter how she ages, she'll still wear a blue tank top and look the exact same.
Cuts to Leon in an actual nursing home playing bingo.
Shit. Do I have to like talk about story stuff from Resident Evil 5? She gets infected with like a version of the virus, and like I'm sure they use that as an excuse why she doesn't age. She gets superpowers at one point.
Everyone gets superpowers. Wesker in Code Veronica is straight up Agent Smith and does Matrix moves.
Yeah.
But he slaps around and throws
he catches
Chris
like
Redfield,
an arc.
so that's pretty good.
No, but then by 5, Chris Redfield's like the Incredible Hulk. He punches boulders and stuff. I mean,
He got owned,
he's
so he
jacked.
has to train.
He's freaking jacked. Like, I will say that about Chris Redfield. He's jacked in 5. Like, that dude, he been doing some upper body days. I mean, I give him credit, But yeah, old man Leon would be cool. I could see like 65-year-old Leon showing up and still somehow getting his. Yo, that's what you do. He can't kick as high, so you just kick guys in the shin and stuff. Boys, I think we all agree Resident Evil 4 Remake is a high quality choice for video games. If you are making your selections this year, I suggest adding it to your cart. It's been a great year for games. So it feels like we're just riding high. I'm having a hell of a time with video games right now. Mm-hmm. John, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you jumping on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We gotta get you back on for some of the regular playthrough shows. I think we can find some stuff you might want to jump in on for. Always appreciate you being on here. Thank you everybody who's been listening. We've had a lot of significant listener jumps recently. People have been finding the show, I guess, which is cool. We are going into Warhammer Space Marine. Yeah. For our next game, we're playing that as a 2-parter.
It'll be square.
Yeah, lots of hitting squares. I told you it's hack and slash. Playing through that. I believe friend of the show Nick will be on that show still. As of yesterday, he's still planning on being there. So that's coming up next week, which is exciting. Thank you everybody for joining us, and stay safe out there.